Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. 1 week has passed since Thanksgiving. I read a very accurate cartoon in the New Yorker. There's a family that's together. Some are eating, some are running, some are talking. And there's a couple having a private conversation. They're the hosts. One is washing the dishes, one is bringing more food. And they're saying to each other, "We were sad last year when we couldn't have the whole family over for the holidays, right?" Please reflect on that. Meaningful Mornings is a workshop where we have no regret. That's only possible if we know that we're following that which is right. Righteousness, dharma. Now the word we're using is yajna. In the past years, much discussion has been had about space travel. Have any of you been to space before? That's a legitimate question now, correct? Eventually in the audience, someone is going to say, yes, I have been to space. With space travel, a challenge that companies face is developing enough escape velocity to pull away from the Earth's pull. That makes sense? That's for physical travel. For metaphysical travel, that is our evolution, we also need such a critical energy. Our bodies have to be healthy because this becomes a catalyst for our minds to be enthusiastic. And this becomes a catalyst for our intellects to practice empathy. Those who don't have this critical energy, they never nurture the enthusiasm and empathy to tune into oneness, which is joy. And the design of the yajnas is to nurture this energy, from physical to mental to intellectual. You will know you're doing this. Yajna means dedication. A synonym to this, a synonymous word, is to be decisive. Those who are dedicated are decisive. And that means one is living with their intellect, by their intellect. And so, the emotional baggage or the mental weight that we're always carrying around, that is let go of. Is everyone connecting these dots? Is everyone feeling this? What slows us down in terms of doing and being? What is a weight upon us is our own minds. In the world, the word emotional baggage is used a lot. In such workshops, it is mental weight. Our yajnas, again, are a training to be decisive, to live by the ideal of the intellect. This teaching about weight, internal weight, continues in the next verse. This is a popular and powerful verse. It relates to Jnana Yajna. We were introduced to Jnana Yajna in verse 28. Now this is magnified in verse 33. Popular and powerful. Pujaswami Chinmayananda was very fond of this teaching, this theme of Jnana Yajna. Here are your references. Shreyan Dravyamayad Yajnat Jnana Yajnah Parantapa Sarvam Karma Kilam Partha Jnanena Parisamapyate Jnane Parisamapyate. Shreyan, which means better. Dravyam, that is materials. Dravyamayat Yajnat, better than materials used in a yajna. And we'll just pause there. Let's think about this word dravya. We have described this as possessions in our exploration of the yajnas as possessions. Possessions to discipline. Here, the further implication, dravya is a ritual. Dravya is external. Shri Krishna's implication here is that as long as you're engaged with materials that are ritualistic, that are external, this is going to lead to a phala. A phala means a result. If there's a phala, there's going to be a bhokta. If there's a result, there's going to be one who deserves that result. And one who lives by this, if there's a bhokta, then there's going to be janma, which means that deserver is reborn. ... As long as the way you're practicing self-development only relates to materials, like flowers and foods, there are rituals where you don't relate to this. It is external. It is about the beautification of an icon instead of your own beautification. One's karma will go on and on and on. There will be no rest. In comparison, Jnana Yajnaha Parantapa. What is superior to this? What is more demanding than this? What is more evolved than this? Is a yajna not with materials, but rather with ignorance. That ignorance is offered. Ignorance is given up. And such a lifestyle is not ritualistic, rather is intentional. That you're carrying this intention outside of a controlled environment also. That this is not external, this is internal. You can relate to this altar, you can relate to this idea. It is only through a jnana yajna that one will feel rest. And now this is made more technical in the next line. Sarvam karma akhilam partha. Prince Arjuna, those who live by jnana yajna, which means they're ignoring how to be happy. They're intentional, they're internal. All of their actions come to a completion. They come to a completion. I've been using the word rest. The technicality behind this, why we act karma, is because we have desires or kama. Why we have desires is because of ignoring or avidya. These are described as the knots in our heart. We're forced to live like this, where we're ignoring how to be happy, so we're desiring happiness, and then we act for happiness thinking I can create it. But I don't create it, so I try to create it again and again and again. And this is exhausting. But here, if actions are complete, the implication is desires are complete. The implication is ignorance has been completed, as in it's not there anymore. If there's no avidya, there cannot be kama and karma, just like if there's no cause, there cannot be an effect. When we are unhappy, we pursue happiness. But if you're happy, then you don't pursue happiness, correct? There's rest. Jnane parisamapyate. This is all facilitated by jnana. Remembering your nature is happiness. Parisamapyate, once and for all. Or they lived happily ever after. That's what the sense of parisamapyate is. Can you visualize that? Nothing we do is once and for all. Nothing that happens to us is they lived happily ever after. I often describe to Sheila how frustrating it is to have to eat every day. Why? Why do I have an equipment that I have to fill up multiple times a day? Why do I have to exercise every day? Why do I have to do anything every day? It's exhausting. But here the potential for rest is shared. In Advaita, there is akarma, which means in oneness, there is no more doing, there is only being. With doing comes doership, yes? Chapter 4 is transitioning now to chapter 5. Karma Yoga is deepening to being. Reflect lots on this. I've shared with you this is popular, this is powerful, especially for those who have grown up in more orthodox backgrounds. I feel a lot of the dravya yajna that you engage in, you do this out of fear. You do this because you feel that you're supposed to do this. Just like a high school student who feels, I'm supposed to go to high school. There's no bhava behind that. There's no transformation. How can we be serious about jnana yajna? The next verse is one of the most meaningful verses in the entire Bhagavad Gita. For those who have any sort of reference to Viveka Chudamani, can you put your hand up if you know what I'm talking about? You've heard this word before, you've seen this book. All of Viveka Chudamani This is a text with like 600 verses, is a commentary on Bhagavad Gita's chapter 4, verse 34. That's the profundity of the next verse that we will explore. And how lovely that we'll get to explore this most meaningful verse with the completion of the happiness series tomorrow. And tomorrow's Guru Vara. Thursdays are days where we understand and appreciate our Guru more. So be ready tomorrow. From inspiration to application, a recent application of yours was to eat fresh whole fruits before your meals. How many of you are still doing that? Good. Reflecting on the workshop or the dynamics yesterday on matter management, if you think of your biological family, your health probably affected or affects your mother's health. Agreed? I feel like if our children are unwell, then Sheila thinks about it more. Now expand this to our earth, which is also our mother. Our improved health will improve her health. Yes. And her improved health will help our health. So continue to engage in this Anna Yajna, not just for you, but do it for her health. And you have the same application, which is to be part of the happiness series. Today's focus will be on Satya. I will be describing the 3 pillars that are needed to build up one's life. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.